He walked into the church just as the final hymn faded into silence. Rain still dripped from his coat. His shoes squished with every step, and his face bore the kind of weariness that doesn't come from a single sleepless night, but from years of carrying the weight of a life unraveling. His name was Marcus, 41 years old, father to a little girl he hadn't seen in weeks, estranged from a wife who no longer trusted him, jobless, phoneless, homeless, except for the occasional mercy of a friend's couch or the back seat of his dented Toyota parked behind the Walmart down the street. But on that night, all he wanted was one thing: peace. The church was nothing glamorous. Just a small building with peeling white paint, rickety pews, and a handful of believers who knew how to call on God like they knew him personally. It wasn't the kind of place where people went to be seen. It was where the broken came to be put back together. That's why she was there too. Her name was Carla, 37, single, faithful, and tired. She had been coming to this church for the last 3 years. At first, it was for healing after a devastating heartbreak. Then it became her safe space, her home. She led intercession on Thursdays, volunteered for outreach on Saturdays, and spent more time praying for others than she ever did for herself. But deep down, she was waiting for her own miracle, waiting for a husband, not a prince, not a preacher, just a man who feared God and knew how to love without conditions. She noticed Marcus the first night he walked in. It wasn't his looks that caught her. It was the silence around him, the kind of silence that screamed. He sat in the back, head bowed, hands clasped tight, like he was wrestling with demons no one else could see. And every night after that, he came back. He never spoke to anyone, never stayed long, but he kept coming. And Carla kept noticing. A week passed before she found the courage to speak. He had just stepped out of the church after a Tuesday night prayer session when she caught up with him. "Hey," she said, jogging up beside him. He turned, startled, clearly not used to being approached. "I'm Carla," she said, offering a smile. "I've seen you around. Didn't mean to scare you." Marcus nodded slowly. "Marcus." There was an awkward pause. Then, almost without thinking, she said, "Do you have a phone?" He hesitated, then shook his head. "Not right now." Something in her stirred. Compassion, maybe? Or something more. "I have an extra," she said. "It's an old one, but it works. You can use it. No need to return it." He looked at her like she was speaking another language. Then, slowly he took the phone. "Thank you," he said, voice barely above a whisper. And that was how it began. The phone became Marcus's lifeline. He used it to look for jobs, to check on his daughter, to read daily devotionals Carla sent him. He started spending more time at the church, even volunteering when he could. Slowly, people began to notice him. Some welcomed him. Others kept their distance. But Carla was always close. She called often, texted constantly, invited him to events, brought him food, bought him clothes. To her, it was ministry. But to Marcus, it began to feel controlling. At first, he appreciated her help, her kindness. But over time, it started to suffocate him. She would ask where he was, who he was with, why he didn't reply quickly. She corrected him in public, gave unsolicited advice, acted as if she had a say in everything he did. And then, something unexpected happened. He met Denise. Denise was different. She came to the church for the first time during a Friday night vigil. She was soft-spoken, warm, and carried an air of quiet strength. Marcus helped her carry a box of bottled water into the church, and that was the beginning. They talked that night, and the night after, and soon they were laughing, connecting, sharing stories about their past. Denise never asked too many questions. She never told him what to do. She just listened, and Marcus began to fall for her. He tried to keep it quiet. He didn't want drama. But Carla noticed. She always noticed. She saw the glances, the smiles, the way his attention shifted. And it burned. She called him one evening. "You've changed," she said, "since you met her." Marcus didn't deny it. "She's kind to me," he said. "She doesn't treat me like a project." Silence on the line. "I want my phone back," Carla said finally. That single sentence sent a ripple through the entire church community. Rumors spread. Sides were taken. Some people accused Marcus of using Carla. Others said Carla was being petty and jealous. But behind the scenes, things were unraveling. Carla confronted Denise one night after service. "You think you know him?" she said, voice low but sharp. "You have no idea what I've done for that man." Denise didn't argue. She just walked away. But Marcus had heard everything, and something inside him snapped. He stopped coming to the church. He stopped answering calls. He disappeared for a week. When he returned, it was for one reason only: to return the phone. He handed it to Carla in the church parking lot. No words, just a nod. She took it with trembling hands. And then, as he turned to leave, she whispered, "I loved you." Marcus paused, turned. "No, you loved the idea of fixing me. But I wasn't broken away you thought." He walked away. That night, Carla didn't sleep. And that was just the beginning of what will become a storm that shook their church to its core. Want to know what happened next? The betrayals, the confrontation, and the shocking twist that changed everything. Subscribe now, drop a comment, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Part 2 drops soon. Don't miss it.